Welcome back. In this video, we are in our last video. I do that every time. In our last video, we got our connections, or we put together our effects for the default attributes, and we tried to, and that the result of that was at least we had some stuff set up, and but we needed to define those or give those places to be defined on the character. So what we're going to do is on our character base, we are going to create a couple of member variables, and I'm going to put them in here. And what I'm going to do is these are going to be a T subclass of a gameplay effect. And I'm going to call the first one, I'm going to call it default primary attributes. Okay, and this is going to be a U property. And it's going to be blueprint read only. And then edit anywhere. And let's put it in a category so we can find it easier of attributes. And it doesn't like this gameplay effect, so we can forward declare that. Okay. And then I'm going to copy. Oh, see, it did that CPF thing again. Wish I knew how to fix that. Copy that and paste and paste. So we want default secondary attributes, and we want default vital attributes. So that'll give us 3 spots where we can select them in our blueprint, in our character blueprint. What we're going to want to be able to do is then have these attributes applied to our character. So to do that, we'll write a function here, be a void function. I'm going to call it apply effect to self. And what we're going to want to use is the gameplay effect, the class of the gameplay effect. So we'll get a T subclass of our U gameplay effect, because that'll be like our default secondary and primary attributes and stuff. We'll give that one called gameplay effect class. And I'm going to put in a float for a level, because we know that sometimes in the end run, we're going to want to be able to put in the character's level to that will help affect the valuation or the application of the effect. And that's going to be a constant. Okay, so let's create this. So create a definition of that. And what does that look like? Well, it is so the base of the function, or what we're going to do is we're going to get ability system component, right? So that is part of the ability system component, which we've must have included somewhere. Well, we have it forward declared here. I don't have it at the top, so it's probably going to complain. Yeah, well, let's let it complain. I'll add it after. Well, it's going to happen right now because it's not going to have anything here. So we're not getting any fill-in stuff. So we want to, I don't know if I think I want both. I think I want to include ability system component dot h. Probably could just do the other one. But anyways, now we got our stuff. We'll just carry on our way here. And so what we want to be able to do here is we want to apply gameplay effect spec to target. Oh, that's my blueprint. Hey, I guess that's a new thing. Apply gameplay effect spec to target. And what does it take? It takes a gameplay effect, a reference to a gameplay effect, a pointer to the target, and a prediction key, which it's already set to a default, so we'll keep that for now. So we need to create we have our gameplay effect. Well, we got a class of it anyways. But we need a gameplay effect spec. So to get that, we need to do a get the handle for it, I guess. I don't know. And we can call this one our effect spec handle. We're going to set that equal to, we're going to get our ability system component. And we are going to make an outgoing spec. And it wants a gameplay effect class, which is what we've passed into this function. So it's a gameplay effect class. And it wants a level, so we passed in levels. We'll give it to its level. And then it needs a context handle. I'm going to call it, I'll write it here first, context handle. So we need to define our context handle. So let's do that. So up here we'll do a F gameplay effect context handle called context handle. And that's going to be, again, we're going to get it from our ability system component. And we're going to make an effect context. So down here, so the effect spec handle has data, and we use the get. Now this is some internal pointer to the effect spec. So that's from the handle. The data is actually the spec, effect spec, which is what we want. And then we have to use the get command on it because it returns the object. And to be able to have this as the object here, we need to dereference it. That's the right term. Yeah, my C++ programming background is anything I've learned while I've been doing these courses. So that's what you get. Um, and the second thing that this thing wants is the ability system component of the target, which is our get ability system component. That's the one that we're using. So that is the basics of what needs to be done. So we create a context handle of our gameplay ability system. We create a spec handle based on the effect class that we're passing in, and then we apply that gameplay effect to the target, which is ourself, I guess. And so there's a couple of things that we want to make sure are valid. Although I'm starting to slowly understand there might be differences of opinion with regards to this, of checking pointers to make sure that they're valid, or just letting the program crash and then dealing with when it came in null or something like that, and then dealing with it at that point with better error handling. But I don't know all of that, so I know that we want to check if it's valid, and we're going to create a game crash here if it can't get the um, ability system component here. So that's one check, because we use that a lot, right? Like we use that in every line here. So we want to make sure that it's working, and we better make sure that we've passed in an effective or a valid effect class. So we're going to check our gameplay effect class. Now, one thing that we were going to want to be able to do within our system is we want to know, as far as this effect, who's the source of it. So one of the pieces in the data of the context handle, we can add the source object, and we're going to add this. So in other words, the base character. So this is the source of that. I believe that's we'll see that show up. I don't remember where, but we'll see that show up. And I'm going to add that here. So that's our function to add the effect to our character. And now what we need to do is call this a few times. So I'm going to go back to my .h here. And I'm going to make another void function here in the protected section. And it's going to be a void function, and we're going to call it initialize default attributes. And it's a const function. So let's just wait for that to show up. Okay, and we can create the definition for that. And basically here, what we're going to do is we're going to call our apply effect to self. And we're going to call it with our default primary. And I'm going to just pass in 1.f for now. We'll later, when we get character leveling and stuff like that working or into our template, then we can come and adjust that here. And then we're going to do our default secondary. And then we can do it again with our default vital. Okay, so only thing we haven't done, I think, is call this apply effect to self. And so we need to think about where do we need to call that. Let me think about where I should call it. I think I think we should call it on the character. And when should we call it on the character? Let's look at our character class, our hero. Let's look at our hero. So we have our initialize ability. So, and that is being called after we've been possessed. And it's called on the server and on the client. So it's probably a good spot down here to call initialize attributes, default attributes. And that's on the base class. And so we'll say initialize default attributes. Okay. I don't know. I think is there something else I want to do? Is that on the enemy as well? Should probably do it on the enemy, I'm thinking. Yeah, same thing on the enemy. So on the enemy, right after their begin play, their init ability actor info. And after we've created this, we can now set default attributes. So this will be initialize default attributes, because they'll have theirs too. Yeah, I think that's right. And let's it's possible that I'm missing one other complexity here, but I'm going to do a build here to see if we've got anything. Compile is done, there was no issues, so that was good. Let's just see that it probably does nothing when we try to run it, but we can set our gameplay effects, our default attribute gameplay effects and stuff like that, and move one step closer. Okay, so it opened up with my hero character here, so that's good. If I do a search then on attributes, here are our default secondary and vital attributes in our attribute section category. So we have our BP, our blueprints of that we made in our previous video. So that's like primary attributes for the primary, that's secondary for the secondary, and vital for the vital. And then compile that, save that. And I'm going to go back to my characters and open my enemy character. And I'm going to look for the attributes here. Well, we're going to use the same ones for now. Okay. And was there anything else that we needed to set? There was something maybe on the player controller or the player state. Was there an attribute here? That's not what we want. Well, let's let it yell at us if it wanted something else. If I push play, well, everything seems normal. If we do the show debug ability system, well, look at that. All of our attributes have values. So I have a health of 142, stamina is 97, mana is 152, strength is 8, intelligence is 6, wisdom is 7, dexterity is 9, constitution 10, charisma 5. Remember, we set all those values. Our max health worked out to be 142, which is why our health is set to that. Max stamina is 97, max mana is 162. Health regen is at 6.05, stamina regen of 5.05, mana regen of 4.05, physical defense of 6.6, a speed of 12.5, a willpower of 8.5, percentage or a perception value of 9.2, and an influence of 11. Well, that's pretty cool. And if I switch over to one of the enemy characters, well, they're going to have all the same values because we used all the same things. But the fact is that they're all set, right? So that's good stuff. Perfect. I think that's going to end that this point of this video, because that was I have to say I was a little bit surprised because there's one other thing that we need to do, and we want to apply a gameplay effect. Maybe it's more because it's a runtime thing, where we have to bind some delegates to things. But we'll get into that a little bit more later. But what I don't like is having to look way over here and to see these values, and only being able to see them in our debug view. So we're going to work a little bit on adding a default HUD and a summary screen of our attributes, because it'll show us how to create some HUD elements and how we're going to connect them together to connect to the widgets from our data, and we will we'll have a few basic subcontrols that will be used to build that. And as far as my template is concerned, that'll give me the bones. And then any future project that I start that template from, I'll have the bones there, and then I'll just need to modify a style here or there or something like that, and then be able to compile them into desired menus and such. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you like it, great. And if you don't, well, thanks for sticking around. And we'll do some more next time.